BreadTube, a loose and informal group of online content creators who create video content, including video essays and live streams, from socialist, social democratic, communist, anarchist, and other left-wing perspectives. I have been covering some of the antics from BreadTube over the past year, and I think now is the perfect time I do one big video going over my issues with these people. 6 issues to be exact, starting with 1. They're fake nice guys. A lot of these BreadTubers build a persona revolving around them being wholesome and empathetic to those around them. However, there are many times that the mask slips, and their true colors come out. Many are just as hateful as the people they criticize. The only difference is that they are much less self-aware and act two-faced. This also makes them morally inconsistent, which will be a common theme throughout this video. The most widespread example of this is how these creators align themselves with the body positivity movement, yet at every opportune moment, they'll make fun of someone's physical attributes. And I think it's fine to make fun of a public figure's appearance. My problem is the hypocrisy. My favorite case of this is with Jake Doolittle, who's made numerous videos on this topic. He spends half of his Fatspo video criticizing a 16-year-old girl with an eating disorder for saying mean things about fat people. He could have literally picked anybody else, but okay. He then made a video on Orange Peanut, a troll YouTuber who's made numerous videos goofing on fat acceptance TikTokers. This video from Jake ruffles some feathers, because many of his criticism of Peanut is just him making fun of his appearance and his stutter.
Like, I understand that this guy is accepting of his, I don't know, armpit bruises. I agree. Maybe he could tell us how he's so confident in his small build. What's it like being 5'1"?
Yes, they do. I've went through a bulk and a cut cycle. When I was bulking, I got very big because I ate a lot. And when
Why do you say yes they do like that?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. I
Yes,
went
they
through
do.
a bulk and a cut.
You know, making fun of my speech isn't very woke of you. It's not very politically correct. This is the exact same thing that Nickisnotgreen did. He made fun of my stutter. I don't know why, but all these people who preach like acceptance, political correctness, wokeness, they're all they do the same things at the end of the day. It's just they only do it when it benefits them and they know their audience is gonna like it. Everybody is a piece of shit at the end of the day. It's just a matter of how.
As Peanut just said, Nickisnotgreen did the same thing, while also discussing body positivity and acceptance.
I'm not forcing women to talk about anything, and as far as boobs go, we like boobs. We don't talk about them for 3 hours straight.
Both of these guys will get ratioed in the comments, because their more normal fans hate it when they do this crap. Though Jake turned off the comments and edited out part of the video that made him look bad, that being the weird consent comment.
There's a possibility that you can't do certain things, like bench an unconsenting girl, right, Orange Peanut?
Huh? You want to repeat that one for me, Jake? We went from nice, lighthearted roasts about appearances and background and content to all of a sudden you're accusing me of not caring about consent of girls? What the fuck is wrong with you? No, genuinely.
Again, there's that mask slip. Another prominent individual you'll see in this video is Ethanisonline, who does this shit all the time. He commonly mocks others' appearances despite pushing against that.
If I described to you a balding white man with a podcast who peaked in high school, you'd probably be able to perfectly capture exactly what this man looks like. Sorry to inject him into your head.
Why does he look like that? Why are his eyes yellow like a Sith Lord? Why does he feel like he was built in Detroit Become Human? Who is this man?
If he shaved everything but his mustache, he would look scary. He would look frightening. Beard is giving Easter Island silhouette. Yeah, he does look like, someone point out, he looks like from his profile, he looks like a crescent moon.
Yet when his appearance is criticized, he throws a hissy fit.
Yeah. I'm a little overweight. I don't like how it feels.
So do something about it.
I am, asshole. It's really frustrating that your fucking audience keeps commenting that shit when I do. I used to be heavier, dickhead, but it's, you don't fucking change overnight.
On me, Ethan. Now you're the one getting mad.
You literally were just like, do something about it. Fuck off, asshole. It's mean. You're mean. When you talk about weight shit, you're mean, and I don't like it.
By the way, this dude flat out lied. He looked like this when he started YouTube. Noah Samsen is another BreadTuber I've covered before who's also made fun of people's appearances and mannerisms, but there are even bigger examples of this dude being two-faced. He definitely portrays himself as a calm, understanding individual, just sticking up for disenfranchised groups, but this moral high ground he stands on is just for show. On Twitter, he's made multiple death threats, though if asked, he'll just explain it as jokes like they always do. First is after he lost a debate to Vaush, with him liking a tweet where someone wanted Vaush to be put down like a dog. Then, during the Super Mega drama, Noah wanted Chud Logic to be melted into a large cast iron cauldron. And by the way, the pedophile part is borderline slander. Even Keffals and Xaderhal, who both hate Chud Logic, don't think Chud is a pedo.
Chud Logic and all, he is not a pedophile though. I am very familiar with the drama that happened where people tried to slander him as a pedo. I even spoke to him in private about that drama when it was going down and got like all the screenshots and info and everything. He's not a pedo.
Here's where I'll make a correction from the last time I talked about Noah. I stated that this tweet was what got him banned from Twitter, but what really got him banned was this tweet describing how he'd kill Elon Musk. This is the same guy making videos of this crappy bisexual lighting, ironically wearing maid outfits by the way. These guys don't fool me, they're fake nice guys who take advantage of their viewers. Leading us to our next point. 2. They weaponize their audience. I've seen many instances of BreadTubers using their audience as either a sword or a shield. For instance, they'll use them as a suitable defense against opposition, or to attack and harass those they deem irredeemable. My favorite example of the former is definitely the Balenciaga scandal, which I went over more in detail in my Denims video. Basically, this fashion company posted some sus marketing photos, one showcasing a document relating to a CP court case, and others showing little girls holding teddy bears that have bondage on. YouTuber Shoeonhead was pretty much the figurehead of this controversy, calling out Balenciaga's actions and giving updates. BreadTubers that she deemed friends, being Xaderhal, Demon Mama, and Denims, called her out for this with very bizarre reasonings. They all tried downplaying the controversy, while at the same time insisting it would negatively affect the LGBTQ community. This had nothing to do with queer people, yet they for some reason insisted that this will give conservatives fodder to spread hate. They don't realize that they're the ones giving them fodder by even implying gay people have something to do with this.
So, Xaderhal says, Shoeonhead on her way to once again use her massive platform to provide the neo-Nazis in her audience with fodder they can use to justify the murder of gay people. But this time, one day after an anti-gay terror attack. By the way, fucking based Xaderhal. Can we get some motherfucking hypers in chat for Xaderhal having the balls and the spine and the Giga Chat energy to be a real trans ally? Because unironically, that's what it looks like. Xaderhal out here fucking spitting and showing you all how it's done.
Calm down, dog. It's just a shitty Patrick Bateman meme. Basically, these people were waiting for a good opportunity to shit on Shoeonhead, as I don't like the fact that she goes after both sides in videos. They use their audiences, which are filled with lots of queer people, to attack someone else by manipulating them into thinking the scandal will negatively affect them in any way. Vaush would use a similar tactic earlier this year, when his special folder got leaked live on stream.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring to.
If you somehow don't know what he had on there, it was AI generated images involving horses and little girls, doing some pretty disgusting things. When Ethan Klein and other YouTubers called him out for being a lolly enjoyer, he clapped back with this.
I like the part where he said this is a pedophile community. Yeah, did he say that with regards to there being a lot of transgenders here? Is that what he meant? Curious.
It's not a pedo community because trans people are part of it. It's because parts of your audience are defending the fact that you're sexually attracted to kids, and have made numerous arguments for why CP should be legal.
So, there's pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child rape?
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. Because I bought my computer and the silicon in it was farmed in Africa by slaves. If I can do that and that's legal and no one's gonna call me out in my shit, then yeah, I have to be consistent in that respect.
Nice false equivalency there, douchebag. The difference is that one product could be made ethically, while the other cannot. Vaush can make the excuse that he's debate-brained all he wants, but that folder and the loads of other evidence that he's into lolly proves that wrong. It's just gross how he automatically thinks an attack on his defenders is an overall attack on trans people. One of those defenders was Keffals, who in my opinion is way worse than Vaush. It would take too long to cover all the awful things she's done, so I'll summarize it as this. She kept changing the story about her doxing, lied about which website doxed her for more clout, raised $100,000 for a supposed legal case, and then wasted the money on vacation and streaming gear, knew about the grooming that went on in her Discord server, admitted to grooming minors, and promoted a site that sells homemade drugs to minors that has a lolly on the packaging. When Muta released his video showcasing the evidence for all of this, Keffals used the ultimate trump card, transphobia. She spread this lie to her audience, stating that Muta used the wrong pronouns in the announcement tweet. and that the art in the thumbnail was transphobic. These claims are retarded as all hell, but Keffals' diehard fans believed it and started going after Muta. They even made up conspiracy theories for how his wife is some sort of fascist right-winger. Late last year, Jake Doolittle released a hit piece of sorts on Ethan Klein, basically accusing him of faking a health scare for money. In reality, Ethan did legit think he had lupus, and was very open about it on stream. Jake did this under the guise of defending those in his audience who have chronic illnesses like himself. If he made things personal like that, he knew his audience would be more willing to go after Ethan and ruin his career in some way. This didn't end up happening, which I'll bring up later. But basically, Jake was once again using his Lyme disease to benefit himself financially. He also has a non-profit that sells branded merch. What the website doesn't tell you is that 90% of the profits from his overpriced junk goes to him. Only 10% goes to people in need. Jake had only admitted to this at the end of a few videos.
Also, if you feel like it, you can donate to the Never Stop Fund. 10% of all profits from the clothing brand go into the fund, so either way, you're helping people out.
If you're selling merch on a non-profit, you probably shouldn't be taking profits from it. Kinda scummy, dude. It's more clear now on the website, but still. Sorry about that tangent. Anyways, I want to give one more example of these guys weaponizing their audiences with malicious intent. The super mega drama. I won't get too detailed into this, because there's loads of other videos that do a good job at that. But basically, a bunch of YouTubers and streamers made statements accusing Matt Watson and Ryan McGee of some pretty awful things. Most of these statements were disproven, involving cheating and homophobia. But what stuck around a bit longer was the allegation spread by Lex Updog. She alleges that Matt and Ryan knowingly covered up her sexual assault by a channel artist, yet they showed evidence of her wanting to keep it private. Many of her other claims are also disproven, but Lex, her pal Nickisnotgreen, and her boyfriend, Ethanisonline, stayed stubborn. Throughout this drama, they pretty much used the topic of SA to motivate their audience to cancel Super Mega, even holding a livestream on Ethan's second channel to celebrate. This was pretty gross behavior, especially when Matt and Ryan's late friend Daniel was brought up. Lex alleged that the two would make jokes about his passing, which they denied. Even if they did, who cares? They're allowed to make jokes about their trauma. I mean, Ryan was the one who found his body.
The person making these claims never knew Daniel. They definitely were not a part of the group that experienced the trauma of losing him. And I think, honestly, it is disrespectful to bring him up as a weapon. I felt like he was just brought into the situation for drama's sake to try to hurt me or Matt or hurt our image. I have done enough shit to tarnish my image, but I will not stand by and let someone talk lies about the way I talked or treated my trauma in regards to Daniel.
The fans of the trio didn't care, and left various nasty comments on his goodbye video, so much so that the comments had to be turned off. Only Nick would apologize for this, and Ethan and Lex would remain adamant that all of their allegations are true. For someone who holds people super responsible for what they say, you truly are a hypocrite, Ethan.
And as a creator, spreading this kind of parasocial rhetoric and allowing it to be okay on your channel is not only irresponsible, but it's probably going to bite you in the ass one day.
But this isn't the only tactic these guys use to attack their opponents. They also love labeling them as full-blown extremists. 3. They dehumanize their opponents. BreadTube, being filled with many on the far left, view those of opposing viewpoints as inherently bad, even those who most would consider right-wing. Even the occasional left-wing personalities get called Nazis from time to time. They do this due to an "you're either with us or against us" mentality, trying to draw a line between their side and everyone else. This instead alienates people and makes them more radical, which is not a good thing on either side of the political spectrum. I first brought this topic up in my Noah Samsen video, as he loves to label his opponents as incels, red pillars, reactionaries, or fascists. An issue I have with this is that he doesn't properly define these terms, as he kind of throws them around all willy-nilly. I mean, there's this one video where he shows a cringy workout motivation video, and describes it as this.
Like, I'm all for a little gym motivation, right? But why does it have to be a little bit fascist, you know? I don't know, seems not great.
What does showing fat people as lazy have to do with fascism? You can criticize that video without making it so political like that. Another BreadTuber who unnecessarily used the term fascist is Big Joel, who made a video titled, "Conservative Comedy Destroyed My Life." In this video, he reviews the Nostalgia Critic video on the 1982 Pink Floyd film, The Wall. It's a pretty bad video, and I went over why in my worst YouTuber song list, but Joel's criticism of it is incredibly questionable. I mean, Doug himself is not political, and neither is this video really. Joel alludes to Doug being a liberal centrist, but then calls him reactionary as he dives into a contentious scene. The scene being parodied alludes to fascism, while the parody itself has a pretty pretentious message about cancel culture, but it wasn't intended to spread any sort of political messaging. This doesn't stop Joel from saying this.
Doug looks at a film about a Nazi who screams about murdering Jews and says, that guy's just like me. I'm gonna make a whole song about how much I love that guy. And that's not funny, at least not on purpose. It's sad.
Again, criticize the shitty video all you want, but you lost me when you tried to string together a political message out of it. Other BreadTubers use similar tactics to create sort of a scapegoat for the opposition, in order to discuss the criticism. During the Super Mega drama, Nick would refer to his haters as Reddit debate dorks. The first time was indirectly in a separate video.
Today I'm wearing my scary shirt to make me look a lot more scary. There's too many Reddit debate bro dorks on this website trying to come after me every single day. So I thought I'd show them a little bit of what I'm made of. You know, do I look scary?
Sure, buddy. Anyways, he says something similar in an Instagram story, very clearly referencing Destiny, who began looking into the Super Mega drama thanks to Turkey Tom. Then we come to In Praise of Shadows, who I'll call Zane for the rest of the video. Surprised I really haven't discussed or talked about him on the channel yet, though to be fair, a lot of channels did. I did archive the original video, so you're welcome. Basically, this dude makes horror movie videos and made a really bad review of The Hills Have Eyes, where he compares the cannibals to American minorities. This basically sent him into a downward spiral, leading to the video, Bad Conservative Horror Movies. Most of this video has nothing to do with the title. It is mainly a response to the hate he gets, along with being a hit piece against a bunch of YouTubers he is a hate boner for. The main one being Wendigoon, who he describes as a fascist bootlicker.
Claiming to be very against the government and for the rights of the people, while at the same time giving a warm embrace to one of the biggest fascist bootlickers on the internet. And the only thing that one could reasonably gather from this picture of them hugging is that he too is a fascist bootlicker himself.
Dude, Donut Operator is a former cop, who occasionally criticizes other cops. What are you on about? A lot of this segment is just Zane trying to label all of Wendigoon's friends as right-wing fascists, despite most of them not being political at all. They just like guns, and Wendigoon himself is Christian. One of the only political YouTubers he mentions is Shu, who Zane refers to as this.
He is publicly friends with Shu on Head, who is a conservative masquerading as a leftist, who has built a career off of lazy anti-woke content, complaining about SJWs, who says stuff like, Karl Marx rising from the grave finding out his movement has been taken over by fat, ugly, mentally ill losers.
Yeah, Shu is not a secret conservative. She voted for Bernie Sanders. Lumping these pretty average people as right-wing extremists is pretty hilarious, as this dude is an actual extremist. I mean, at one point he claims that Wendigoon shouldn't be allowed in public, due to the beliefs Zane described him.
I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, you know, just in public in general.
He also accuses Wendigoon of being racist, strictly because of the area he lives in.
Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise.
What would I call someone who judges another person based on skin color? Oh, I know, racism. Good job, Zane. Glad it's people like you determining who's racist. Now, I really didn't see any other BreadTubers defending this dude, as this video was bad, even for their standards. Though these guys produce similarly bad faith videos, it's just never this blatant. Noah Samsen recently talked about Zane, mentioning that it was just weird.
So in case you couldn't tell by the footage he's showing on the stream, this guy's referencing, it seems like In Praise of Shadows video about Wendigoon, if anyone's familiar with that. My audience might not be, but pretty weird video, pretty weird and bad video. I like that guy's videos otherwise, that was just a really weird video.
I guarantee you Noah is downplaying it, because his exposed videos are just as poorly done. I mean, his Cheeto video basically painted him as a terrorist for reacting to something from libs at TikTok. He also accused Patient Xena of creating a right-wing pipeline, for not thinking racism wasn't the only reason people didn't like the Little Mermaid remake, and has made numerous attempts at dunking on Think Before You Sleep for being far-right and doing bad research. These usually never work for him, and he even deleted the Patient Xena video earlier this year. They do this because at the end of the day, BreadTubers are only really looking to make their political team look good, not having nuanced or interesting discussions, which leads us to our next point. 4. They treat everything as team sports. A lot of the hypocrisies in this community come down to them only caring about what those on the right or center do. If someone on their side of the aisle does something bad or questionable, they either look the other way or try to downplay it. The most recent example of this is with the Ava Chris Tyson situation, with only a few BreadTubers covering it. If you somehow don't know, Ava has been accused of grooming multiple minors on Discord and buying lolly art, among other things. While covering it on stream, Ethanisonline decided to downplay it all by saying Ava was just posting some edgy tweets 7 years ago, and that people change. He gets pressed for seemingly defending Ava and having some level of bias.
I will say that I do have I have a recency bias. I have a bias for shit that has actually happened in the last 5 fucking years. I mean, Jesus.
It shows a bias.
I can say that what Chris was doing on the internet in 2017 is fucking gross, unacceptable, but she doesn't do that anymore. She doesn't do that. It's not acceptable. I agree with you.
Okay, first off, bro, this shit is beyond gross. And second, these tweets go up to 2019, 5 years ago. Your recency bias should apply. God, he looks like a Courage the Cowardly Dog villain. Also, Ethan doesn't clearly think that way, because his most popular second channel video is over 30 minutes of him criticizing creepy things Matt Walsh said a decade ago. And he even complains about hypocrisy here.
I think you should absolutely give people the benefit of the doubt that they have changed when you see them have an old take that's a bad take. But when you dig up something from 15 years ago on Matt Walsh and it's still perfectly in line with his worldview and there's no evidence that he's ever changed and he still thinks that way, and you can reasonably assume that he still thinks that way, and he's publicly saying these kinds of things, it doesn't matter how old it is. He might as well have said that fucking clip yesterday because he's the same stupid incel pedophile fuck.
This is despite the fact that Ethan criticized Alex Rosen for his old pedo hunting tactics, which the guys improved upon. In Ethan's video on Alex, he points out many times that Alex is conservative and tries to paint him as a creepy fuck. Though at the same time, he makes weird statements like that Alex was harassing EDP, seemingly sympathizing with a pedo.
And so he and his weird little cameraman are just harassing EDP and asking him a bunch of really stupid questions like, why do you do this, man?
Later, he criticizes Alex for not helping self-admitted pedos.
Like, this dude probably makes plenty of money off this shit, but he's not paying for therapy. He's not getting these guys into like a housing that's away from like anyone they could do any harm to, that has no internet. He's not doing shit. And he gets called a hero for it by hogs like Michael Knowles.
Yeah, the housing is called prison, which is where Alex is sending these creepy fucks to, since he works with law enforcement now. The fact that this dude is willing to go up to bat to defend literal predators just to dunk on some conservative is really bizarre to me, man. He could have just not mentioned any of the predator stuff and focused on the guy's beliefs, but no.
Is it just because they're idiots?
Are they idiots? Yeah, I'd say a lot of them are, but you know,
Okay, Michael Knowles is a fucking idiot. What kind of question is that? Are pedophiles because they're stupid?
This is the same guy who made a video trying to disprove the gay groomer narrative, and then twisted it by saying Catholic conservatives are the real pedos, with his only example being a 50-year-old case of a gay priest molesting a boy.
It is pretty extensively documented how much of a pedophile defender Archbishop John Roach was. He literally had the sexual assaulter of multiple boys.
Good job, Ethan, defending gay people by listing off one of them as an example. Another BreadTuber who's been downplaying the Ava situation is Denims, and I eventually plan to talk about her takes on this in a future video. Basically, she spends 2 hours slowly reviewing the drama, and cherry-picking the lousiest evidence to show to her audience. She claims she doesn't think the art on Ava's wall was lolly, and dismisses other tweets she made as edgy nonsense. When called out on her hypocrisy, she reacts with hostility.
Oh, you guys are so cute. One day after the former Twitch staff tweet about Doc, but now your why did we ban him? I was responding. But now your narrative changes when the pedo is trans. Did you... I think it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent, but we are. It's you guys that aren't consistent. I think buying a poster from this weird pedo-Nazi artist is fucking creepy and strange. I also think a 33-year-old man trying to meet up with a minor is creepy and insane. But it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent on our positions.
She's referring to the Dr. Disrespect situation, which many compare this to for obvious reasons. Denims doesn't think this is as bad, despite there being way more evidence against Ava. When the doc made his statements, Denims was quick to make multiple tweets calling him out. Yet with Ava, she's pretty silent and is quick to question the accusers.
This is another instance where I feel like it's very bizarre that people are comparing the Dr. Disrespect situation to Ava's situation, because Dr. Disrespect was a 33-year-old man flirting with minors. Ava was a 20-year-old trying to make stupid jokes with minors. One of them is like, dude, what the fuck are you thinking? You're crazy. You're trying to commit a felony. And the other one is like, oh my God, you are cringe. You are beyond cringe.
Casey Tron, Denim's friend, has also been downplaying this despite how aggressive she's been with the doc. This hypocrisy extends to those on the opposing side, with Sneeko and Nick Merckx downplaying what the doc did, though one side is more blatant about it. Denims has flat out admitted before that she doesn't think covering drama from her neck of the woods is worth her time, saying this in the same stream where she defends Keffals.
My perspective is, I don't like to spend my time going after other people that are on the left, right? And that's just because I think my time is better spent making fun of people on the right. You guys can disagree, and I'm not saying that no one should ever do this, and I'm not saying that I think it's bad to do this. I'm saying I don't like to spend my time fighting with people who are saying that they're on the left.
The fact she'll openly say this just shows how brainwashed her audience is. Noah Samsen is also guilty of this, as he'd go out of his way to accuse Think Before You Sleep of leading to Illumination's doxing. Yet only a month prior, he was called out for being publicly friends of a known doxer. This is Bad Empanada, another BreadTuber who, just like Noah, hates Vaush and Xaderhal. Emp invited Noah to be part of his charity stream, with Noah making a now deleted community post. He'd get some flack for this and not attend, with Emp mentioning this on the stream.
Yeah, someone in chat's asking about
I haven't seen him.
Asking about Noah. What about Noah Samsen?
Noah said that he can't come on. I'm not sure if he can't come on because he got like yelled at by Vaush pedophile fans, or because he just actually can't come on. But it's one of those things.
Damn.
The real reason is because he got called out by other leftists for supporting a known doxer, who sent targeted harassment campaigns against his critics. This guy also has a history of making pro-9/11 statements, and is allegedly a creep. One of the guys he doxed was someone he was trying to sue for alleging that he was a pedophile, which there is evidence for, though it's nothing super concrete. But yeah, Noah has never made a public statement regarding Empanada, though he left up a community post regarding unrelated criticism. These two are still following each other on Instagram, so this tells me that Noah doesn't give a shit about harassment or doxing, as long as someone he likes does it. I mean, here's him initiating a targeted harassment campaign against Xaderhal.
Stop it.
He'll probably complain about being clipped out of context, but I mean, the full video's there. It's a full video. You can watch the whole thing. Also, if you do go there, don't say anything mean, please. Just comment Squid Gang with 6 G's.
Yet he gives TBYS shit for doing the exact opposite, and discouraging his audience from leaving mean comments on Illy's video. Noah also ignored the fact that on multiple occasions, Illy sent her fans to mass report TBYS's video, despite it being pretty tame and not being considered cyberbullying under YouTube's strict rules. He even downplays it by saying TBYS is just a crybaby for even considering this could lead to deplatforming. Oh, and speaking of crybabies, 5. The Crybullies. Many of these creators make content poking fun at and criticizing others they dislike. Though what I've noticed is that when these guys get backlash themselves, they plead innocence and act the victim. This is so common that I literally have loads of examples. The first one I'll bring up being from Noah, who made a hit piece on Vaush and then debated him. Noah came across as spineless and couldn't properly debate against any of Vaush's points, and then took the video down. He then put the video back up once the hate died down and made another. Ever since then, he's declined to do another debate, still mulling over how badly Vaush whooped his ass. Jeez, imagine losing a debate to someone who jerks off to images of little girls. Now, with Jake Doolittle, he'd get loads of backlash on his H3 video, making an Instagram story after Ethan teased a new podcast episode. He'd use death threats to bait sympathy, as if every big YouTuber doesn't get them. Ethan was actually debating not covering Jake's video, but Jake still kept the video up until an hour into the podcast.
Oh, he just privated it. Well, it's too late, bro.
Oh, is it now?
That's true. No, it's too late. It's too late, Jake.
Oops. Oh my
you
God.
had all 3 fucking weeks to do it, man. He's watching, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably.
Jake, you had 3 weeks, and every comment on the video was like, this is a bad take. Social media, this is a bad take. Nobody was down with it. And it took him until now, for some reason, when I'm here actually defending myself. Like, bro, you have a public video up with like 125,000 views, and people that aren't familiar with me and my show can take away a really nasty impression of me. So of course, I have every single right to come here and respond. And the fact that you just took it down now is not going to save you, brother. You might as well just bring it back up.
Public that shit.
Yeah. I recommend you watch this segment. It's 3 hours of Ethan satisfyingly destroying Jake. It took Jake over a week to make an apology, where he gives no context and says a bunch of cliche gobbledygook.
My intention was to stand up for a specific group of people, but instead I came across as an asshole. I didn't consider how my words would affect others, and for that I'm very sorry. I've also come to realize that no amount of explanation can undo the impact of that video, and so for the discomfort or hurt that it caused, I also apologize.
He'd take his original down, though I managed to archive it on my second channel. He then placed a copyright takedown request, which he did have the right to do, though it's obviously did this because he wanted the drama that he started to go away. When he took his apology video down a month ago, the same thing happened. Though when he placed the takedown request, I noticed that he put it back up. Yes, this guy was going to quietly take it down, though when I caught it, he decided to undo that. What a coward, man. These guys always make the lousiest apologies, where they try to take responsibility for as little as possible, until that gets them more hate. This happened with Zane, who made various tweets only apologizing for the most egregious points he made, like when he spread false rape threat claims made by Sneeko towards Brandon Buckingham.
He is friends with Brandon Buckingham, a gun YouTuber who has been accused of threatening rape.
Though he's stuck by many of the other claims made, like that Muta is transphobic for the Keffals thumbnail. Zane would then rant on Discord about the hate, effectively getting off social media after deleting the video. I find this funny because he was talking about how he was low on money since his videos barely get views anymore, and he hasn't uploaded in 3 months. Then we get to Nick, who should get the world record for making the most apologies to a single case of drama. There's at least 5 I can think of, with the most concrete being the one he uploaded in January. He finally fully admits to fucking up in regards to the super mega drama, and shows regret towards the other mean-spirited videos he's made. Remember, this guy spent months avoiding responsibility, and only made this as a last-ditch effort to regain some of his audience. After Nick's most recent apology, which he made on his 3rd channel, Ethan would go live on Twitch and get asked about it. He gets immediately angry, and basically pushes all the blame regarding the super mega controversy to Nick.
People were praising him for the vid. Yeah, annoying commentary watchers and liars were saying this is such a good video because you apologized to the guys that I like. And apologized for, you know, hurting their feelings, I guess. He literally apologized for playing the gif of fucking Matt Watson getting punched in the face. You're really apologizing for that? He's a rape apologist. Play it 10 times, 100 times. I can't be friends with people who are that, like, easy to fold. I can't trust people like that.
Ethan, that's you. Dude, remember the Alex Rosen video? When you got shit for that, you made a Twitter thread basically victimizing yourself, and whining about people jokingly calling you a pedo, yet you have a history of loosely calling others pedos.
They think that I'm mature enough to have a 9-year-old daughter.
And be a pedophile too, because you look like a pedophile.
So
Ethan is just as spineless as Nick, but he has more of a fake tough guy persona, as seen anytime he DMs a creator he doesn't like. About a week after that Nick stream, Ethan would go live again, with Lex this time, where they'd basically get raided by Lerix. I was watching this live and had a bit of fun trolling them myself.
You and Vaush to date. What? Why would you say that? He's a pedophile.
They basically get riled up at every little joke someone makes, acting as if they have the moral high ground while not realizing everyone is wasting their time.
Still think you should watch the Big Bungie video on you. Would wipe the slate clean with this chat. That video has fucking revenge porn in it. It is a deranged, like, fucking delusion made by a 4chan basement dweller. I'm not watching that. You're sick in the head if you think there's fucking good critiques in it, and if you want to fucking make the points, repeat them. Regurgitate like you do all these dumbass questions.
Based Bungie. My favorite YouTuber, Bazy Bungie.
It's so funny to see you seethe. Dude, you haven't made a single point. I hope you're proud of yourself. But you haven't.
Yes, that's Lex's real laugh. She got that Kamala Harris hyena screech.
Oh my god, you're so stupid!
Is it? Wait, I'm
you are so
getting gaslit.
Stupid. Average intelligence of my fucking haters, dude. Right fucking here.
All these losers in chat need to go get a fucking job.
Oh, it was the wrong word.
Y'all
I
are
focused
some
on
lame-ass limp blurp motherfuckers.
Instead of making a proper video debunking the hate he gets, he'd rather spend hours of his time debating random shitters. He'd end up privating this VOD, but archives do exist. Now lastly, I want to briefly cover Vaush's defenders slowly leaving the internet, or at least trying to. You got Keffals, who deleted her last few YouTube videos, and has been silently streaming since May. Then she pretty much decided to leave the internet, after messages leaked of Xaderhal threatening to beat her and her orbiters to death, all because they have small personal disagreements, and the fact that Keffals was friendly with Shoe on Head in the past. It was also revealed that Xaderhal abused his editor and didn't pay them. Sticking by Keffals, even after the Muta video, was Tipster, a former commentary streamer who's married yet likes to hit on other women. He not only defended Keffals, but also defended Vaush's lolly obsession. He ended up removing all the videos on his channel after the backlash, but then put back up the videos he made after aligning himself with BreadTube. Finally, we get to Jalyn, someone I've surprisingly never talked about on this channel. She's extensively a lolcow known for constantly getting themselves into drama, apologizing for it, threatening to leave the internet, and then coming back after a day. This has become known as the Jalyn cycle, usually starting with them picking beef on a commentary channel or calling a black guy the gamer word.
No one else should care.
I find it just really funny that they say on Twitter, yeah, all transphobic people are pedophiles, than just being openly transphobic towards Ringo.
That's not being transphobic. I can make 41% jokes. Also, Ringo's also literally making the same jokes. Like, what the fuck you talking about, nigga? Like, what the fuck? Are you retarded?
Ooh.
Like,
you're not
fuck
black.
all
You're
of
not
you.
black. You're not black, Jalyn. You're not allowed to say
To be
that.
fair, I don't give a
You're
fuck.
not
You
allowed to
don't
say
give a
that
fuck
word. Are you
either.
racist? I am black.
Jesus.
I am
We're
black,
all
actually.
hypocrites.
Yet Jalyn will have a problem with people making trans jokes. She recently defended Vaush and Keffals, though the straw that finally broke the camel's back was her downplaying the Ava Tyson situation, which finally got her to leave the internet and rename her channel to Inactive. Many BreadTubers rely on flimsy arguments that can easily be debunked, and when they do get debunked, they throw a hissy fit about it and act innocent. If you're going to shit talk on the internet, be ready for others to shit talk you. But many of these guys have no backbone and can't even take jokes. And that leads to my last point. 6. They're safe edgy. This is definitely the least important point, but it's something I've been wanting to talk about. I've noticed that many BreadTubers are safe edgy, as in, they target their jokes and quips at certain people, yet would get backlash from their audience if they did it to others. This term began after a trend was noticed, the influx of memes poking fun of British and French people. Yet if you make jokes like this towards other people, especially those in non-white countries, you'll get shit on by BreadTubers who will try to label you as problematic or something. Many of these guys don't even know what safe edgy is.
That being said, certain personalities do gravitate towards certain styles, like this safe sleazy kind of thing. First we had safe edgy, then safe horny, and now safe sleazy to finish the trifecta.
Why does he put a map of Europe for safe edgy? What does that mean? Wait, is that even Europe or is it? Why is there a big gap there? Is this like Pangea or something? Am I tripping? What does this mean? Okay, looks like Germany's missing, and then some other stuff. France. So is that like the countries they invaded? Well, no, Germany invaded Poland and it's still there. Look, someone help.
This part of the video should help you, Noah. Safe edgy is basically comedy that appears risque, yet would never actually get you into trouble for saying it. As said in the section about fake nice guys, these BreadTubers only make fun of the appearances of straight men, or those who politically disagree with them. But, let's say, if they were to make fun of a trans person's appearance, they get eaten alive by their own audience. They basically trap themselves into a box they can't escape. He's not a BreadTuber per se, but this sort of thing happened with Ethan Klein a few years ago. On the rare occasion he said something actually edgy, he'd get crucified for it. I mean, Jake Doolittle was part of that audience, and he got offended over some jokes Ethan made about chronic illnesses.
Few things. Leading up to this video, I was a huge fan of the H3 podcast. When I was at my sickest.
So, leading up to this, he was a huge fan.
Right.
The minute I brushed across something he cares about a little bit, brushed upon it, now he's done.
All bets are off.
I'm exposing him.
Too far.
Something that I really want to talk about with this topic is that safe edginess can exist on both sides of the political extremes. I mean, one side normalizes jokes about religion, white people, masculinity, while the other side normalizes jokes about racial and sexual identity. The opposing side will get offended by the other's jokes, yet will make equally edgy material relating to what they deem socially acceptable. I think you should make jokes about any of this, as long as it's a joke. You can't be talking about why America deserves 9/11 unironically and present that as a joke, because there's no punchline.
America deserved 9/11. I can't disavow facts, man. I can't disavow reality. That's not how that works, bro. Like,
even ironically, it's not funny because there's nothing else to the joke. That's why Shane Dawson's old comedy isn't funny. There's nothing to the joke besides doing something edgy. Even ignoring the safe edgy problem, I still wouldn't find these guys funny. Much of their humor comes from them being snarky or passive aggressive, which only works if you're likable. If you've been paying attention to this video, you'll notice that these guys are the opposite of likable. They seem pretentious and all-knowing, never being able to make fun of themselves and have self-awareness. I mean, at the slightest joke at their expense, they get furious. I mean, here's Nick, making multiple different tweets raging over the most tame TikTok comment in existence. Though there is one BreadTuber I do find funny, Ryan Beard. I mentioned Ryan Beard at the end there because for the past 8 months, I've noticed his fair criticism of many of the other BreadTubers in this video. Now, I'm not a big fan of Ryan. In fact, I disagree with a few of his takes. Though at the end of the day, that's bound to happen. Not everyone is going to have the same thought process as you. What really matters is your ability to argue for what you stand for. I appreciate Ryan now because he's the only BreadTuber I've seen actively call out the rash and improper behavior of his peers. In pretty respectable ways, mind you. I first noticed this with Jake Doolittle's H3 hit piece, as Ryan left a constructive comment explaining why the video was bad. Jake, being a pouty child, deleted this comment and many others. Ryan would also call out Noah Samsen for working a bad Empanada, seeing him as a bad look. Then he'd criticize Keffals for trying to accuse Muta of being transphobic. When Gokanaru was discussing Zane's Wendigoon video, Ryan would show up in chat and rightfully criticize the guy, strangely agreeing with a Cheeto, which I thought could never happen.
See, this is the goated nature of a Gokanaru stream. We can have Ryan Beard and a Cheeto in the same fucking stream chat. Do you understand how universal this little experience is? This is like a cultural exchange, bro.
During Ethan's livestream meltdown, Ryan would chat on Lerix's stream.
Yo, what is this alliance? Is this Mr. Beard? Dude, it's Ryan Beard. Ethan needs to log off. He's clearly spiraling, but doesn't... What happened? Wait, did something happen to Ryan? Is this the real Ryan Beard? What happened to Ryan Beard since the last time I've seen him? Ethan needs to log off. He's clearly spiraling, but doesn't realize it. Him and Lex suck, though, so whatever. Did somebody hack his account? Or have I just completely been out of the loop on Mr. Beard? Mr. Beard. Ryan Beard. Him and Lex suck, though, whatever. What happened? I thought this guy was completely on, like, the super mega train. Maybe I just completely haven't been familiar with him. But this is dude, this is an awesome chat message right here. He's clearly spiraling. I thought he was friends with this guy. Dude, shout out to Ryan Beard. W. Him and Lex suck. Dude, let's fucking go. I'm not friends with Ethan anymore after he justified anti-Semitism and told me I was victim blaming when I got mad at Lex for lying about Nickisnotgreen. Dude, let's fucking go. Dude, Ryan Beard is fucking spitting flames in the chat right now. I'm still just as much of a leftist, but Ethan makes other leftists look like freaks when he releases terrible videos, like the Alex Rosen one, so I have no desire to associate with him. Dude, based Ryan Beard. Hey man, I'll see you later, Ryan Beard. Don't worry though, if Ethan calls you a pedo, that just means that he wants you to get free therapy. Lol, alright, I need to stop. See you guys later. Have a good one, man.
This is why I'm starting to like Ryan. Even if you disagree with something he said, this guy has, morals. He has morals that he stands by and can actually interact positively with those who differ from him. In other words, he's actually a mature adult. And honestly, not all BreadTubers are bad. Some of the others I failed to mention are just people I disagree with. You can criticize them for that, but they're not awful people. But like Ryan said, there are those like Ethan or Keffals that make them look bad, and the others on the side of the internet do a bad job at weeding them out. A lot of them are quiet on these topics, which only lets this madness continue for years to come. Even though many of the individuals I've discussed have had their reputations destroyed, they'll still try crawling back to regain relevance while acting like victims. They're just like the people they hate, spineless cowards that only care about their own reputation and the reputation of their political team, not realizing that they're doing harm to that team. Last thing I want to mention here is that Ryan is actually really funny. He can take risks with his comedy and is willing to embarrass himself for it. That alone earned my respect. It's not easy to do that, and it results in some pretty entertaining content. Him filming a parody of Sienna May's apology is goated. Maybe this is what Nick should do for his 15th apology video. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and leave suggestions below for anyone you want me to cover in the next episode of Idiot Influencers.
Now I'm a very sex positive person, and sex research is something that I'm very passionate about.
And when he means research, he means watching his girlfriend fuck other guys while he sits in the cuck chair Sneeko style taking notes.